A handshake and a hug to mark a reset in UK-EU relations. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is following up on his trip to Berlin on Wednesday with one to Paris. Britain's new centre-left government wants to relaunch post-Brexit ties with Europe.
So we discussed the situation in Ukraine, as you would expect, situation in the Middle East, bilateral issues in terms of trade and defence and security, but also the wider reset that I want in relation to our relations, not just with France, but with the EU in general.
Starmer in Berlin on Wednesday for talks with Chancellor Olaf Scholz, announced plans for a treaty by the end of the year aimed at deepening bilateral trade, defence and other ties.
This treaty is part of a wider reset.
The proposed UK-Germany treaty is modelled in part on agreements Britain already has with France on defence, security and closer law enforcement cooperation against people smuggling gangs.
By the end of the year.
On one major issue, the move further to the right in politics in parts of Europe, Starmer wants Europe's progressive political parties to discuss and work together.
I am worried about the far right. I'm worried about populism and nationalism and the politics of the easy answer, the snake oil, if you like. And I think it's very important that we have a debate about how we confront that.
Reaching a new level of cooperation with the EU as a whole may be more elusive than forging bilateral agreements. Both Scholz and Macron, for example, are in weaker positions. The German Chancellor heads a shaky three-party coalition set for challenging regional elections next month and unlikely to survive next year's national vote. And Macron is struggling to come up with a candidate for Prime Minister after a snap election in July produced a hopelessly hung parliament in France.